Hey there guys, how's it going? So, global version of Union Cross is going to be going through maintenance pretty soon for a whopping 6 hours. But after that maintenance is over, we're going to be getting a whole host of new updates. And we know that because the JP's just come out of their maintenance, so thank you to Roboloid Endophin for providing these screenshots, and Endophin's made a YouTube video about it already because he is a lord. Go watch that video. We can basically find out what's in this update. So first and foremost, PvP and PvE are getting some new rewards added into their mix. PvE is getting these brand new types of medals right here, which are the Dream Eater medals, the Meower and the Nightmare Meower combined, basically. So even though the old Meower artwork taken from Kingdom Hearts Key is this generic attack card right here, that has no bearing on what this medal is right here. I believe it's a completely new kind of mechanic, and I look at this medal and I go, okay, well, tier 7, tier 8, and tier 9. Is this perhaps the fabled universal trait medal that we've been thinking about for basically since traits were introduced? I think one of my earliest traits thumbnails had a black and white Mickey medal in it. It could finally be happening. We could finally be getting a universal trait medal in the game, which has been sorely lacking for a long time, particularly with high score challenge medals. I know a few players right now that are the big, well, formerly big spenders of the game that would, try and rank top 1000 every single time and would get burnt every single month, it seemed like. They'd pay to be in top 1000, pay to get their boosted copy with their 3 or 4 trait medals that came with it, and they'd end up getting completely shafted because they'd roll HP, poison resist, sleep resist, and it's like, I can see it wouldn't take too many times for that to happen for a player to be like, I'm out, I'm done, I'm not paying for this game anymore, and I know a few players that have done that, so I do wonder if this is Square's answer to that. Universal trait medals. So I imagine the current system of trait medals would probably still subsist, where you have basically unique trait medals to each individual medal, or it might not. Those unique trait medals might not go away because the 70, 80 we currently have in the game right now will obviously not be going anywhere, but rather than creating a unique trait medal every single time for medals going forward, it might just be easier to hand out one of these purple, potentially. That might be pretty broken pretty quickly though, because you can imagine if you pull for Terraven and Aqua and you were given one of these trait medals every single time, that would just be insanely broken because you could, get your one good copy of a medal and then not have to worry about, you wouldn't have to basically switch banners to trait the one you wanted. You would just keep pulling off that same falling price banner at that cheap price point, and you'd be fine basically. Anyway, I'm really curious to see how these things shake the entire game up because, of course, when mentioning high score challenges, the competition is, again, top 1000 gets the boosted spot, but the higher up you rank, the more trait medals you get. This might really disrupt that because let's say you're sitting on, I don't know, rank 1100 for example, and you're like, well, I mean, I could do one more pull which would get me into top 1000, but yeah, I'd rather not because I'm not too keen on the boosted copy, let's say for example, and I can just use one of these Dream Eaters. I keep wanting to call them fairies. Use one of these Dream Eaters to go ahead and roll a trait on it anyway if I want to do that. It's, not a big deal. I'm not really missing out on that much. So part of me wonders, is this the reason we haven't seen high score challenges for the last couple months? Because maybe they're working on some sort of tweaked version of a high score challenge? I don't know. I don't want them to go away. I want high score challenges to come back. They were one of the most fun parts of the game, an actual unique piece of content. So I won't waffle on too much longer about these, but I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about these. In any case, let's go ahead and move on to PvP's updated reward system. So, PvP, the top rankings are getting 7 platinum tickets, and again, it goes, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, all the way down the rankings. What the hell is a platinum ticket? Well, what a good question. My first instinct is that it's a way of obtaining the rest of these medals right here, so potentially you do a platinum ticket pull, and you end up with some of these trait medals right here. Again, I'm calling them traits without having any confirmation of that, but who knows. Again, maybe I'm jumping the gun here, because it's not guaranteed that these are universal trait medals. They could perform any other function as well. People have been speculating that they, evolve into fairies or something, or they help evolve fairies to a higher level. I don't know if I buy that, but, again, it's not necessarily confirmed that it's trait medals. Again, really strange that we're getting 7 of these tickets, because let's say it's a similar sort of ticket to the rest of these, to the bronze, silver, and gold, in which case it rewards fairies, and potentially you do a ticket on the platinum ticket pull, do a pull on the platinum ticket banner, and you end up with a selection of, let's say, tier 7 to tier 9 fairies. It would be really strange to hand out 7 of these things when you're only handing out 3 gold ones, because these are objectively superior. Now that could be, of course, because it's the first week that these things are coming out, it's Kingdom Hearts 3's release week, it's a new update, whatever, but I feel like they're separate. I feel like just because you're only getting 3 golds and 7 platinums, it would be kind of weird ratio to be handing out so many of these. I think it would make sense for them to end up, to be pulling these guys right here. Who knows though? Who knows? Speaking really quickly, I would assume tier 9 fairies would be entered into the game at some point, but who knows when that point might be, if ever, because, I mean, as of right now, no tier 9 fairies are needed because no 6-star tier 9 medals exist. They could continue that trend forward. They could, if, let's say there is a high score challenge which hands out a tier 9 medal, they don't necessarily have to hand it out at 6 stars. They could just skip ahead straight to 7. They could do that. So, as much as I think a tier 9 fairy will be added into the game at some point, it isn't necessarily confirmed that it ever will be, which is kind of strange. Anyway, platinum tickets, I think, are for these little Dream Eaters right here. But who knows if it's only tier 7, 8, and 9. Maybe it's tier 6 all the way down to tier 1. Who knows? It's kind of... I mean, I wouldn't really ever have a use for a tier 1 trait medal. I honestly would just kind of get in the way, but I suppose it could be a thing that exists. I don't know, it's strange to think about it, right? Like, let's say this platinum ticket comes out and, again, the banner isn't actually in the game right now, so we don't know, but let's say it's from tier 9 down to, like, tier 5, I guess, because that would cover the latest primes. Anywhere between tier 5 and tier 9 of these Dream Eater medals. I don't know, that could be kind of cool. As long as it doesn't go much lower than that, and the rates are sort of decent, I hope. Wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, definitely interesting. Definitely keen to figure that out. So Roboloid found this quite a while ago, the platinum ticket, in the data mine. So this has been in the game for quite a long time. But in addition to this was also the premium tickets. So I wonder if the premium tickets are again going to be like a VIP exclusive thing, where either you can pull exclusive medals from the VIP ticket banner, or you can pull, I don't know, fairies again, like I mentioned, or again these little Dream Eater guys. Who knows? Who knows? Keep going forward though. The Chasm of Challenges has been updated to the cleverly titled Season 2, which again, the reason I say it's clever is because they noticed that people were using it to farm Lux instead of doing the raid bosses, because they increased the health of the raid boss quite dramatically, and they didn't increase the Lux yield. And even though the new Kari was in the game, so the entire new buff cap was raised, they raised the HP of all the raid bosses. I was keeping track of it. The average player gained less Lux with a new buff cap than they did the week before, which is ridiculous. So even if they killed the same amount of raid bosses, they were getting less Lux for their effort, which still persists to this day. So people were turning to the Chasm of Challenges, taking Lux plus medals that did one hit, using buffers on the wrong slots to deal minimum damage as possible, and going in there and just chopping through to get a pretty decent amount of Lux. Like for the time ratio, it was definitely the most efficient. So they're going, okay, we're going to remove that, and instead of rebuffing the raid bosses, they're going to just go ahead and nerf the Lux gain from Chasm. So thanks, I guess. And the reason they're doing this is pretty plain. It's like, well, if players have reached the new buff cap at level 800, then they're going to have to, do some work and actually increase the level cap again, which they don't want to do. They don't want to really work in this game. It's kind of mean to say, but it seems to be pretty apparent a lot of the time. Anyway, right now only one quest is available. I think it gives out a magic gem, I think, but obviously there'll be lots more gems coming in the coming weeks, and synth medals as well. Could that be the new Dream Eater medals, or just like regular fairies or Mickey and Brooms? Who knows, but I guess we'll see. One more thing which is really interesting. So AP is... sorry. It's not going to be costing 0 AP to do any of the story quests, any of the Proud Mode quests, and a bunch of like the Proud, you can see it right here, the enhancement quests, as well as the Proud Plus and the tutorials, which... When's the last time anyone thought about Proud Plus? What I take from this... Oh, sorry, and I should mention as well, when you do the story quest right now, you will not be able to summon a raid boss anymore. So raid bosses will not randomly pop up from doing the story quests. Part of me is like, that's a really, really cool thing in rushing to the story, but there is still that little mission reward for killing a raid boss, the daily one for 30 jewels. If I like go, oh crap, I forgot to summon a raid boss today, I can usually reliably go ahead and summon a raid boss from quest like 715 or whatever it is against that gummy ship in Daybreak Town, and always summon a raid boss within a few seconds. So I might miss that, but then hopefully there'll be some way of consistently summoning raid boss outside of the raid hours. Anyway, what this tells me is that they acknowledging that story is extremely, extremely important. So it's permanently going to be costing 0 AP. You can now skip through every quest that doesn't have a cutscene in it. So just skip from cutscene to cutscene quest, and effectively skip probably between like 60 and 70% of the quests in the entire game. And it's not going to summon any raid bosses, which prevents you from doing more story quests. So they are really, really saying, hey, any new players coming in after playing Kingdom Hearts 3, the story's important. Play the game for the story, which boggles my mind how they can be like screaming this in one hand, and then global version of Square Enix is going, la 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 la, story doesn't exist, don't look at JP, or it's like what's happening here? I don't understand. Like, the JP guys are literally saying, hey, anyone coming in from playing Kingdom Hearts 3, get caught up to the story as quickly as you can. Like here, we'll make it really easy. You'll only have to do a fraction of the quests, it's never going to cost you any AP, and you won't even get slowed down by a simple raid boss. Just zoom, fly through it. So like, it boggles the mind. It just boggles the mind as to why this is happening. As well, the 101 Dalmatians that used to be available from summoning, I think it was like guard armor level 30 or above would drop like number 60 or something, whatever it happened to be for the Dalmatians medals. Or I guess, if you guys aren't aware that play Global, the JP 101 Dalmatians medals are available all the time, hidden throughout the first, I think it's like first 400 or 500 story missions, basically in like random treasure chests or as a drop from random enemies. But also through like certain levels of like the guard armor, for example, or dark side. And obviously, if you can't summon those anymore, you can't get the dog. So they basically moved it into somewhere else. Interesting. I wonder if they're going to bring that into Global, but I wouldn't hold my breath. If you guys aren't aware, about a year ago in Global, they put out all 101 Dalmatians medals into a series of Union Cross quests, which was a really bizarre way of handling it because it was only around for 1 week, and I know tons of people that weren't able to get all 101 unique medals needed to evolve their medals. So anyway, whatever. I wouldn't hold my breath if it's coming to Global. Endophin discovered that there are 42 new slots in the album, which is completely and utterly unheard of. Now we can assume right away, well, we can know right away what 3 of them are. I would assume for completeness' sake that the remaining, tier 1 through 6 are in that list as well, just because of, that would make, again, for completion's sake, but it isn't necessarily guaranteed. So we know 3 of them. We could assume at some point that a tier 9 fairy would exist, so maybe that's number 4 or maybe number 10, depending on how you want to look at it, but like, that's at least 32 more unaccounted for, which is an absolutely huge number. So, part of me thinks, okay, well, mentioning the Dalmatians, well, perhaps there's another gather a bunch of medals and smush them all together because, the 101 Dalmatians, I think it took up like 140, 150 slots in the album with all the combination medals as well. Maybe we could have something like that, or maybe it's just a crapload of, okay. New medals to pull, obviously, there's going to be new banners come Kingdom Hearts 3, that's, pretty much a given. But, I mean, maybe event quests, maybe event medals, finally for the first time in forever. Like, I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that, again, there is going to be an influx of players come Kingdom Hearts 3. It's going to happen. Wouldn't you want to give them something to do? Wouldn't you want to start the game off on the right foot and be like, alright, fresh start, we've been screwing up consistently for the last year. Hopefully, give us something to do, and for goodness sake, regular content updates. They don't have to be huge every single week, every single month, but just regular stuff to do. So if they want to start off on the right foot here with, 42 new medals, we know what some of them are. We can assume there's going to be a fair few from banners as well, but some stuff to actually earn. Wouldn't that just be really nice? Some stuff to actually earn. Who knows? There could be an entirely new type of mechanic as well. Like I said, there's these Dream Eater medals right here, but there could be a, tier 1 through 9 of an entirely new mechanic as well. We don't necessarily know, but tons to speculate about. Lastly, I said there's going to be guaranteed medals and banners because we know there will be, because the pet can now rank up past rank 11. Obviously, we don't know what it's going to rank up to because all the medals that exist in the game right now only ever give 144 pet points when traded, and when you have all 6 of those, it gets you to rank 11. Presumably going forward from there, maybe I don't know, they'll give off 180, whatever. It's an arbitrary value, whatever it ends up being, but that value always basically means that you need 6 of whatever the current meta amount is to hit the newest rank. I would assume with Kingdom Hearts 3 being out, it could potentially be rank 13. That would make a lot of sense to me. Roboloid, again, when he data mined the Platinum and Premium tickets, found evidence of Reflect, like Aqua's Reflect barrier in the game as well. So I was thinking, hey, that's probably a pet trick, potentially, or maybe a skill. Wouldn't that, that would make a lot of sense if rank 12 or rank 13 featured that thing finally, because the same update that introduced the Premium Platinum tickets forever ago was the update that also featured Reflect. So it would make a lot of sense now that the update has finally been revealed to the public for Reflect to be added into the game. So much to talk about, guys, so much to talk about. So maintenance, I think, is happening in 5 minutes in global time. I'll see you guys in 6 hours, and we'll go through the update. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you soon. Tell me what you think is going to happen. There's lots and lots to speculate on. What do you reckon? Universal trait medals, and if so, do you reckon there's going to be tier 1 through 6 versions as well? What are the premium tickets going to be giving out? What are the platinum tickets going to give out? Lots of stuff to talk about. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. I'll see you really soon. Bye!